Chapter 3 The Scientist. Begin all acts and thinking by using El Kalum the All. Tablet 1. Nergal and Arishkegal. 19 times 11 equals 209. Lo! Anu made his voice heard and spoke. He addressed his words to Kaka. I shall send you to Kanugi, the underworld. You must speak thus to Arishkegal, saying, It is impossible for you to come up. In your year you cannot come up to see us. It is impossible for us to go down. In our months we cannot go down to see you. Let your messenger come and take from the table. Let him accept a present for you. I shall give something to him to present to you. Kaka went down the long stairway of heaven. When he reached the gate of Arishkegal, he spoke. Gatekeeper, open up the gate to me. He allowed the Inunakai Kaka in through the first gate. He allowed the Inunakai Kaka in through the second gate. He allowed the Inunakai Kaka in through the third gate. He allowed the Inunakai Kaka in through the fourth gate. He allowed the Inunakai Kaka in through the fifth gate. He allowed the Inunakai Kaka in through the sixth gate. He allowed the Inunakai Kaka in through the seventh gate. He entered into our spacious courtyard. He knelt down and kissed the ground in front of her. He straightened up, stood and addressed her. Anu, your father, sent me to say, It is impossible for you to go up in your year. You cannot go up to see us. And it is impossible for us to go down in our month. We cannot go down to see you. Let your messenger come up and take from the table. Let him accept a present for you. I shall give something to him to present to you. Arishkegal made her voice heard, and she spoke, and she addressed her words to Kaka. O messenger of Anu, our father, who have come to see us, may peace be with Anu, may peace be with the Namna, may peace be with Nadimad the great Inunakai, may peace be with Namu and Nash, and you are the pure Inunakai. May peace be with Demuzi, the husband of Inanna, who is the lady of heaven. May peace be with Ninurta, who is the champion in the land. Kaka made his voice heard and he spoke. He addressed his words to Arishkegal. Peace is indeed with Anu, Nanamna and Nadimad the great Inunakai. Peace is indeed with Namu and Nash the pure. Peace is indeed with Demuzi, the husband of Inanna, who is the lady of heaven. Peace is indeed with Ninurta, the champion of the land. Kaka made his voice heard and spoke. He addressed his words to Arishkegal. I hope everything may be well with you. Arishkegal made her voice heard and spoke. She addressed her words to a chief Namtar. O Namtar, my chief, I shall send you to the heaven of our father Anu. Namtar, go up the long stairway of heaven. Take from the table and accept a present for me. Whatever Anu gives you, you must present to me. So he went, and when he arrived he found the path that led to where the Inunakai are kneeling together before him, the great Inunakai, who are the masters of destiny. For it is he who controls the rites of the 88th temple of the Inunakai, who dwell within Urkala. Why do you not kneel down before him? I keep winking at you, and you keep pretending not to realize. When Nadimad heard this, he said to himself, I have many things to say first. Nadimad made his voice heard, and he spoke. He addressed his words to Nergal. My son, you shall go on a journey you wanted to make. Grasp a sword in your hand. Go down to the forest of Mezu trees. Cut down the Mezu trees and Simberu trees. When Nergal heard this, he took up an axe in his hand. He drew the sword from his belt, and he went down to the forest of Mezu trees, and he cut down the Mezu trees and Tiaru trees. He cut down the juniper and any of the various evergreens or shrubs of the genus Juniperus, having needle-like, scale-like, or often pointed leaves, and aromatic bluish-greyish berry-like seed-bearing cones. And he broke off the Kanaktu and Simberu trees and Ningish Zida. He painted it with yellow paste and red paste as a substitute for gold. He painted it with blue glaze as a substitute for lapis lazuli. The work was finished, and the chair complete. Then he Nadimad called out, and he laid the instructions for Nergal. My son, about this journey which you want to make, and from the moment that you arrive, you need to follow whatever instructions that I give you. From the moment that they bring a chair to you, do not go towards it, and do not sit upon it. When the baker brings you bread, do not go towards it, and do not eat the bread. When he who runs the orchard brings you fruit, do not go towards it and do not eat the fruit. When the vineyard grower brings you wine, do not go towards it and do not drink the wine. When they bring you a foot bath, do not go towards it and do not wash your feet. When Arishkegal takes a bath and dresses herself in fine tobe, allowing you to glimpse her body, you must not do that which men and women do. Nergal set his face towards Kanugi, the underworld, to the dark house, dwelling of Urkala's Anunnaki, to the house which those who enter cannot leave, on the road where travelling is one way only, to the house where those who enter are deprived of light, and where dust is their food, and clay is their bread, which is simply the state of death, a physical death, where the light of this world is cut off, and their flesh returns to the dust in which it is encaved. They are clothed like birds with feathers, they are wrapped for the burial ceremony to be mummified, they see no light, and they dwell in darkness, they re-enter a pure supreme balancement, the state of souls, void of body. Pitch and feathers are hot against their skin, they moan like doves, as they are prepared for mummification. Then the gatekeeper opened his mouth and he addressed his words to Nergal. I must take back a report about the Anunnaki standing at the door. The gatekeeper entered and addressed his words to Arishkegal. My lady, a man has come to see us who is unknown. Who will identify him? Arishkegal made her voice heard and spoke to Namtar. Let me identify him, and let me meet him at the outer gate. Let me bring back my master a description of him. But Namtar went and looked at Era in the shadow of the door. Namtar's face went as livid as cut tamarisk. His lips grew dark as the rim of a Kaninu vessel. Namtar went and addressed his lady, saying, My lady, when I entered the courtyard of Anu, all the Anunnaki of the land were kneeling humbled before him. The Anunnaki, who are the Elohim, rose to their feet in my presence. Now they have gone down to the underworld. Arishkegal made her voice heard and spoke. She addressed her words to Namtar. My dear Namtar, you should not seek Nanamnar's power. You should not desire to do heroic deeds. Are you going to come up and sit down on the throne of royal days, a raised platform as in a lecture hall for speakers or honoured guests? You should perform the judgments of the broad earth. Should I go up to heaven of Anu my father? Should I eat the bread of the Anunnaki? Should I drink the water of the Anunnaki? Go and bring me the Anunnaki Nergal into my presence. Namtar went and let in the Anunnaki Era, also known as Nergal. He allowed Nergal in through the first gate of Nedu. He allowed Nergal in through the second gate of Kishar. He allowed Nergal in through the third gate of Endashirima. He allowed Nergal in through the fourth gate of Enurala. He allowed Nergal in through the fifth gate of Endukuga. He allowed Nergal in through the sixth gate of Endushuba. He allowed Nergal in through the seventh gate of Anugi. He came into the broad courtyard and knelt down and kissed the ground in front of her. He straightened up, stood and addressed her. Anu, your father has sent me to see you. He was saying, sit down on that throne, judge the cases of the great Anunnaki who live within a curl or a great city. As soon as they brought him a throne, he said to himself, don't go to it, and he did not sit on it. When the baker brought him bread, he said to himself, do not go to it, and he did not eat the bread. When he who runs the orchard brought him fruit, he said to himself, don't go to it, and he did not eat his fruit. When the vineyard keeper brought him wine, he said to himself, don't go to it, and he did not drink his wine. When they brought him a foot bath, he said to himself, don't go to it, and he did not wash his feet. When she went to bathe and dressed herself in a fine tobe and allowed him to catch a glimpse of her body, he resisted his heart's desire to do what men and women do. She went to bathe and undressed herself and allowed him to catch a glimpse of her body. He gave in to his heart's desire to do what men and women do. The two embraced each other and went passionately to bed. They laid there, Maluka in error, for the first day and then the second. They lay there for the third day and then the fourth. They lay there for the fifth day and then the sixth. When the seventh day arrived, Nergal went away without any help. After she allowed me to go, now I will return to the underworld later. Her mouth turned wicked with rage against Nergal, who went before the Elohim to address his speech to the gatekeeper. Arishkegal, your lady, sent me, saying, I am sending you to the heaven of Anu our father. You shall allow me to leave out. The messenger said no. Nergal came up the long stairway of heaven. When he arrived at the gate of Anu, Nanamnar and Nadimad, Anu saw him and said, "The son of Ishtar has come back to us. Arishkegal will search for him and forget. Nadimad his father must sprinkle him with water." Then bareheaded, blinking and cringing, let him sit in the assembly of all Allahum. Arishkegal left to bathe at home because her body became unclean, which would be for a period of 7 days, which is in accordance with the 7-day uncleanliness laws after sexual intercourse of the Anunnaki, and they accept that the essence of the being that you interchange fluids with and emotions will stay with you for 7 days, and Arishkegal called out her pardon, that is, that she may be pardoned for this act. The chair is free to sprinkle the room with the water of the spring. The seed of the 2 daughters of Lamashtu and En-Mashera sprinkle with the waters of the spring. The messenger of Anu, our father, who came to see us, shall eat our bread and drink our water. Namtar made his voice heard and spoke. He addressed his words to Arishkegal, his lady. The messenger of Anu, our father, who came to see us before daylight, has suddenly disappeared. Arishkegal cried out loud, and she grievously fell from the throne to the ground. Her tears flowed down her cheeks. Era, the lover of my delight, I have not had enough delight with him before he left. Namtar made his voice heard, and he spoke, addressed his words to Arishkegal. Send me to Anu your father, and let me arrest that Allahum. Let me take him to you, that he may kiss you again. Arishkegal made her voice heard and spoke. She addressed her words to Namtar, her chief. Go, Namtar, you must speak to Anu, Nanamnar and Nadimad. Set your face towards the gate of Anu, Nanamnar and Nadimad to say, ever since I was a child and a daughter, I have not known playing with other girls, and I have not known the romping of children. That Anunnaki whom you sent to me and who has impregnated me, let him sleep with me again. Send that Anunnaki to us, and let him spend the night with me as my lover. I am unclean, and I am not pure enough to perform the judging of the great Anunnaki, the great Anunnaki who dwell within Nergal, the great city. If you do not send that Allahum to me, according to the rites of Nergal, the great city and the great earth, I shall rise up the dead, and they shall eat the living. I shall make the dead outnumber the living. Namtar came up the long stairway to heaven. When he arrived at the gate of Anu, Nanamnar and Nadimad, they saw him and said, What have you come for, Namtar? Your daughter sent me to say, ever since I was a child and a daughter, I have not known the playing of other girls, I have not known the romping of children. That Anunnaki whom you sent to me, who has impregnated me, let him sleep with me again. Send that Anunnaki to us, and let him spend the night with me as my lover. I am unclean, and I am not pure enough to perform the judging of the great Anunnaki. If you do not send that Anunnaki to me, I shall rise up the dead, and they will outnumber and eat the living. Nadimad made his voice heard and spoke. He addressed his words to Namtar. Enter Namtar, the court of Anu. Search out your wrongdoer and bring him. When he entered the court of Anu, all the Anunnaki were kneeling humbled before him. He went straight up to one of them, but he didn't recognize the Anunnaki. He went straight up to a second Anunnaki, and a third, but did not recognize those Anunnaki. Namtar went away and addressed his words to his lady. My lady, about you sending me up to the heaven of Anu your father. My lady, there was only one Anunnaki who sat bareheaded, blinking and cringing at the assembly of the Anunnaki. She replied, Go seize that Anunnaki and bring him to me. I expect Nadimad his father sprinkled him with water, and he is sitting in the assembly of the Anunnaki bareheaded and blinking and cringing. Namtar went up the long stairway to heaven. When he reached the gate of Anu, Nanamnar and Nadimad saw him and said, What have you come for, Namtar? Your daughter has sent me to say to seize the Anunnaki and bring him to me. Then enter Namtar, the courtyard of Anu, and search out your wrongdoer and take him. He went straight up to one Anunnaki, but did not recognize him. He went straight up to a second and a third, but did not recognize them either. Then he made his voice heard and spoke, and he addressed his words to Nadimad. Let Namtar, the messenger who has come to us, drink our water, wash, and anoint himself. He is not to strip off the powers of error, because I shall hinder. Namtar made his voice heard, and he addressed his words to Era. Era explained all the rights of the great underworld, Argata, ruled by Didanakiel. So now when you go from there, you shall carry the chair thyself. Do not grapple with him, lest he bind your chest. Era, take to heart the speech of Namtar. He rose up and oiled his strap and slung his bow. Nergal went down the long ladder of heaven. When he arrived at the gate of Arishkegal, he said, Gatekeeper, open the gate for me. He struck down Nedu, the doorman of the first gate of Nedu, and did not let him grapple with him. He struck down the second doorman Fukar of the gate of Kishal, and did not let him grapple with him. He struck down the third doorman Sirum of the gate of Endashirima, and he did not let him grapple him. He struck down the fourth doorman Lanrad of the gate of Enurala, and did not let him grapple with him. He struck down the sixth doorman Arudala of the gate of Endushuba, and did not let him grapple with him. He struck down the seventh doorman Kudri of the gate of Anugi, and did not let him grapple with him. He entered her wide courtyard and went up to her and laughed. He seized her by her hairdo and pulled her from the throne. He seized her by her tresses and with force pulled her down. The two embraced each other and went passionately to bed. They lay there, Arishkegal and Era, for the first and second day. They lay there, Arishkegal and Era for the third day. They lay there, Arishkegal and Era for the fourth day. They lay there, Arishkegal and Era for the fifth. They lay there, Arishkegal and Era for the sixth. When the seventh day arrived, Anu made his voice heard, and he spoke. He addressed his words to Kaka, his chief. I shall send you to Kanugi, the underworld, to the home of Arishkegal, who dwells within Urkala. To say to that Allahum who sent to you, shall forever protect those above and those below.